and your body just starts boiling from the inside out for a few minutes, but it's horrible. Okay, I'm really sitting down to do this, to record this video. Okay, I'm gonna get ready. You're gonna see me look down because I have my notes on my phone. I still need to look for my notes. I didn't look for them. I just know they're there. Okay, I've got my notes. This video is long overdue for me. I haven't shared this with anybody. If you personally know me, you know this. But the reason why I'm making this video is because it's helping me to process what happened to me, because I myself operate in the mental health space, and I know how important mental health is, and to do rituals and to do a ritual when something happens to you, to work through it. My way is to talk, and I am going to go to a psychotherapist, but because the corona situation is going on, it's not really the timing isn't right at this moment, but I really want to record this video because it could help someone else, and it helps me. I have a disclaimer though. If you are currently pregnant, I would suggest not to watch this video until you have given birth, because you might attract things to you that you don't want to. And if you are sensitive, if you're like a high sensitive person, because there's gonna be, probably I'm gonna put images in the video. I'm not sure yet, but I might put images in the video, and it might contain blood. So I don't know if you have a weak stomach or not, but I'll see to it that when if I do put those images in, that I put it on the screen like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that's where the image is gonna be, so that you are not shocked and you can skip over them if those parts of the video if you want to. And sometimes you might see that I'm joking, but it's a very serious situation. I am a person that likes to joke around. It's one of my coping mechanisms. I know that for myself. It's because, one, I like to make jokes, and two, in a situation where something traumatic happens to me, I notice that I use humor in order to talk about my pain, or yeah. I think if I had made this video right after had given birth, I would not be bubbly and smiling and stuff like that. That's what I think. But if I look at how people responded to me when I told them, there's some humor that I've used from the get-go. Okay, so let's get into this video. From the beginning of my pregnancy, I really didn't have any problems. I didn't really feel anything crazy. I did sleep a lot in the beginning. We went to Cape Verde. When I edit those vlogs and upload them, I'll put a card in this video, then you can watch them. It's not that much footage because the majority of the time that I was in Cape Verde, I slept. That hotel bed was my best friend. I slept a whole lot. All right, so I'm gonna start at 24 weeks pregnant because that's when stuff started changing. The 19th of November 2019, that's when I was feeling my stomach was contracting. I was experiencing hard abdomen, and I also had slight like cramping from, I'm gonna say it how it is, from the anus. I was feeling cramping. If you don't know, when you are giving birth or you're at the point of giving birth, you feel like you have to poop. So that is a sign that you might be having contractions. So I called the labor and delivery ward in the hospital because I had a high risk pregnancy, because I also had myomes. I don't know how you say that in English. I have to check the word, and I'm gonna put it up here. Let me just look for it. Fibroid. That's what I had. I had a large fibroid at the bottom of my uterus on the outside. If I would insert a finger into my vagina, I could feel the fibroid. It was a large fibroid of about 9 to 10 centimeters. And that because of the precision of the fibroid and the size of the fibroid, I was considered a high-risk pregnancy, because the baby would not be able to pass through vaginally. The only thing was they had to just monitor the fibroid. And the thing that was a problem was bleeding at birth. That was the thing. They said that I could hemorrhage So I had to give birth in the hospital. So at 24 weeks, I was feeling what I consider contractions, hard abdomen, and it was happening a few times an hour. I think 5 to 7 times an hour. I had experienced that before, but I didn't have the pain at the anus, like the cramping. So I was like, okay. But when that happened, I called the labor and delivery ward, and they told me to come in. They said, okay, we're gonna monitor you, we're gonna put you on the monitor and to check. So they have to do an entire cycle to see, about 20 minutes to 30 minutes they check to see what is happening, if you're contracting or not. So Ruben and I were like, okay, we're going, and Ruben was like, yeah, in a few minutes we'll be home, don't worry. So we got to the hospital, and ill prepared, because we were like, okay, we're not gonna stay, I'm not gonna stay here. And then she was like, okay, we're monitoring you, and we see that you're having contractions, and because you have the cramping, how does the cramping feel? Is it painful? That's the type of questions they started asking me. I was like, okay, the cramping is like annoying, but it's not that bad. And she's like, okay, is it like a period pain? I was like, listen, Chad, I never had period pains in my life, so I don't know what it is, so I can't answer that question. So they kept me there they said we're gonna keep me there. So Ruben went home, got a few of my things, and to rest, because he was dead tired, because he had barely slept, because we were in the process of moving. So there's like so much that was going on, and also the process of buying or purchasing a home was happening then as well. So he went home and he said, okay, I'm gonna take a nap, and then when they've run the tests and they're done, I'll come back. So I was there. I got there around 7 or 8, yeah, about between 7 and 8 p.m. And around, I think 12 is when I was actually done with when them running the tests and everything. They took my urine, they took blood just to check everything was fine. And then they told me, okay, miss, because you are contracting and you are 24 weeks, we want to send you to another hospital in Leiden, because they have a neonatal intensive care unit, and they are specialized in taking care of babies who are born prior to 32 weeks. And I was like, okay. I wasn't, at that point, I was still not worried. I was like, you know what? I can feel my baby. I'm communicating with my baby. I'm fine. There's nothing going on. But they transferred me with the ambulance to Leiden. And in Leiden, they checked me again. They ran the same tests or some extra tests. I'm not really sure which tests they ran anymore, because so much was happening. And I stayed there that night. I got there in the morning around 6 o'clock. And Leiden and The Hague are not very far from each other, so it was like a 20-minute ride. And I arrived there around 6 o'clock in the morning. They ran tests, and by 10 o'clock they were like, okay, nothing is happening. Since yesterday, your situation hasn't changed. You are not dilating or anything, so we feel it's safe to send you home. So I got myself a taxi. Taxi dropped me off in The Hague, and I was home. The only thing they told me is like, don't go to work. You shouldn't go to work in the coming week, because I would have an appointment the next week. They would check to see what was happening, if anything had changed or anything. So I was home. I called my work. It's like, yeah, I can't come in. This is what happened. And they were like, okay, no, stay home. Take care of yourself. So I stayed home, chilled a lot, rested a lot. And with the smallest things that I did at home, my stomach became hard. So the hard abdomen is the same thing as your belly contracting. So then I just took it as, you know what, this is something that belongs to that I do in this pregnancy. This is something my body does in this pregnancy. It is what it is. I didn't think much of it, because the doctor also was like, yeah, it's what your body does. If you're keeping a low profile, if you're not doing too much, then that's what your body might do. And it doesn't have to be a problem. That's what they said. It shouldn't have to be a problem. It could be, but we have to see. The next week I went to my appointment. They asked me like what was happening, and I said, yeah, if I do small stuff around the house, my abdomen starts tightening. And then it was like, okay, well, if I can't tell you what to do, but my advice would be to work less or even not at all. So I called my job. I was like, yeah, well, that's what the doctor said, and I'm going to follow what the doctor said because I want my baby to be okay and alive and to be born healthy. So I stayed home. That was fine. In the meantime, I was packing stuff. Ruben was doing the majority of the things. I had already packed up my stuff. My stuff was already packed and in storage. So I was just helping him around the house with little things. And mind you, it was a very small apartment. It was like a 1-bedroom apartment, very, very tiny. So I was spending most of my time on the couch. The kitchen was like 6 steps from the couch, so it wasn't that, that's how small the space was. So I wasn't walking too much. I slept a lot. And the 21st of December is when we moved to this current place that you see. We bought a home. Awesome. I have to say, this is like the dream house. This is the house that we thought we were gonna buy when we were like in 10 years. I tell you, I was meditating, visualizing, and Lord, we got this house. Still to this day, I'm like, oh, we live here. Okay, it's like a little leak in the back of our house. Woo! All right. Proud of that. But that's another video. If you want to hear about that, let me know. I'll make a video about that. But, okay. So the 21st of December, we moved here. Had a lot of people help. I didn't lift anything. I was just chilling. I couldn't do much because I couldn't, because my stomach was so large, I couldn't even like bend over and do stuff. So even if I had wanted to, it wasn't gonna happen. So yeah, the 21st, then we had Christmas, and then the 30th, the 31st, I went to the hospital again. And what was the reason? Yeah, I had pain at the side, on my side here, and I called them. I said, I don't know. They already told me like, it's better you call too much than too little and that something be wrong. So I told them I have a sharp pain on my side, on this side. And she told me like, okay, we want you to come in to just run a few tests to see what's going on. When I got there, she said, yeah, it could be that you have a bladder infection, because pregnant women tend to not be able to register bladder infections that well. So that's why we wanted to check. They checked my urine, everything was fine. And then they went with the probe to check my uterus, and then they said, okay, we see another fibroid here. And the inside of the fibroid is black, which could mean that the fibroid is dying on the inside. And it hurts like hell. It hurts. It hurts. And she's like, yeah, and it really hurts. It's like, yeah, I know. And then she checked the other fibroid, and both fibroids were there. It was a tiny, a fibroid, I think now it was like a 7 centimeter fibroid on this side, and the one below my uterus, that one was still 10 centimeters. Okay, she told me you could just take paracetamol every 6 hours to manage the pain, and other than that, there's not much we can do. Okay, fine. So went home, celebrated New Year's, because we had New Year's Eve and New Year's. Ruben's parents were here, and his aunt and uncle, and Ruben and I, we were here, our new house. I sat on the couch. I didn't even go outside to check fireworks. I was like, I'm good. The pain, I took I took 2 paracetamols like she told me, and I was doing okay, managing. And then I went to bed around 3, or we went to bed around 3, I think, yeah. And around, I think 5 o'clock, I got up to go pee. And then I need to go downstairs to take something, I don't know what. And then I came back upstairs, and then I went to pee. I said, let me pee, because, Lord, pregnant women and peeing is just... But yeah, you pee so much. So I was like, let me go pee. I don't feel like peeing now, but let me go pee, because by the time I lie down, I'm gonna feel like I need to pee. So I walked from the bathroom to this bed, and I lie down in the bed. And then also, all of a sudden, I was like, Ruben, I feel like I'm peeing myself. So I was like, okay, this is... I thought this was... what's the English word now? Vruchtwater. I know these words, right? But my English is gone today. Amniotic fluid. See, I know these words, but they are not coming to my mouth today. Anyways, I thought it was amniotic fluid, and Ruben, like I said, Ruben, I feel like I'm peeing myself. I was like, oh Lord. And by this time, by now, I was 30 weeks, and I think 2 days. No, it was exactly let me check. You see how you forget things? The body is a great thing. Yeah, it was exactly 30 weeks. And Ruben turned on the light and it was blood gushing out. And I mean gushing, like gushing. So I took a towel quickly. I asked Ruben to take a towel for me. I put a towel under my body. I put the towel here. I had my, at that time I was sleeping on this side of the bed. And I had my phone over there. So I called 911, 112, it's 112 here. I called the emergency number. I told him I need an ambulance, and the guy was asking me like what's going on, and I explained to him. He said, okay, do this, do that, elevate your butt, press against your, he said press against your side, lay on one side. I can't remember those things, so I'm not gonna butcher it. And I was calmly talking to him, and Ruben left the room. I could imagine he was freaking out. I was calm because I had no choice. I was like, I have to take care of my baby. I like listened to my baby. I was like, okay. I was talking to the baby. I was like, okay, hey, how are you? Like energetically talking to the baby. The baby was moving, and the guy on the phone told me, okay, we dispatched an ambulance and they're coming. We need somebody to open the door. And then so I was calm and I was doing all the things, and I told him, okay, this is what is happening. The bleeding is not stopping. It's still gushing. Even though I've done everything you're saying, it's okay. By this time, let me show you. So I had a few towels. I think in total 4 towels. So this towel right here, this size towel, was drenched. There was also a blue one that was drenched. And there was a puddle underneath me because I asked Ruben to put a bag underneath me. And that one there was blood on it. I'll show you the pictures right now. So it was drenched. And the ambulance came. I had to get up. They gave me an IV. I had to get up, walk downstairs, walk outside, and get onto the gurney. And then they took me to the hospital. And what I forgot to say in the ambulance, I kept feeling the baby moving, and I was humming a song to the baby that I hummed to the baby have been humming to the baby for months already. I kept humming that to keep the baby calm and to keep myself calm and to keep in contact with the baby, and the baby kept moving, and so I was like, okay. So I was fine. I was really relaxed because I was like, you know what? Oh, a split second when the bleeding started and I didn't feel the baby, that's when I freaked out, and it was like a split second. Because then I felt him move, and then I was like, okay, we're good. I don't know where the blood is coming from, but we're good. And I was humming to him, and then he kept moving and moving till I got to the hospital. He kept moving. And at the hospital, they gave me the medicine to ripen his lungs, the baby's lungs, because it's a he. And they also gave me magnesium sulfate. I don't know if you say that that way in English, but that's the Dutch term, magnesium sulfate. And that medication is hell. It's for ripening the baby's brain, and your body just starts boiling from the inside out for a few minutes, but it's horrible. Horrendous. It's horrendous. Oh, it was horrendous. I was like, okay, now I know what mom feels like having hot flashes, and it's horrible. And then it was like, okay, we're gonna send you to Leiden again. But so this time I stayed very shortly in The Hague, and then I stayed in the hospital for 4 days in total. When I arrived, they checked me, and then the guy said, we can't find your fibroid, the one that's at the bottom of your belly. I'm like, okay, so the fibroid bled out. It's like, yeah, that doesn't happen. but you can't find the fibroid. He's like, yeah, but the fibroid maybe moved to a different position. We're gonna check later on, but we can't find the fibroid. It's like, so I looked at Ruben and I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't know if I looked at Ruben. I'm just, it's like a matter of speaking. But I was like, well, 2 and 2. I mean, fibroid there yesterday. Bleed, fibroid not there. Didn't it just happen, like it bled out? Or he's like, no, that doesn't happen. I was like, y'all medical people, huh? So it's like, y'all medical people, you're just because you never see it don't mean it can happen. But okay, I don't know. I'ma shut up. After 4 days, I think 3 days, the bleeding stopped because they went and did the ultrasound, and then they saw that there was clotted blood in my uterus, and it needed to come out, and that was what they thought was causing the bleeding. They didn't know why there was a clot there, but there was a clot there, and that was the gushing of blood that I was still experiencing. So they said, like, we're gonna wait till you pass that and see if the bleeding stops, and then you can go home. I was like, okay. So they said that they're gonna check later, and they checked again. Fibroid, no date. They just told me, like, when the bleeding stops, then we're gonna check you. And mind you, I told them numerous times, like, yeah, I've lost a lot of blood. I think about a liter, a little more than a liter. You saw the pictures. But they're like, okay, yeah. Like, they didn't really, like, it didn't register because they didn't see it. Then it's like, yeah. And then this time I didn't get anything, no iron, no nothing, no extra blood. So my veins were slightly collapsing because I had less blood in my bloodstream. Okay, the day that I left the hospital, I had to go downstairs to the pharmacy to get my medication. Then put me in a wheelchair, and we walked down, and they gave us the wrong voucher, so we had to go back up. As we were going back up, I started getting queasy, and I had the pregnancy pillow on my lap, so I laid on it. And by the time we got there, I was like, I'm not feeling too good. I'm not feeling too good. And I just leaned over, and at a certain point I just collapsed, and they had to lift me up and put me in the bed. In hindsight, I know now know that it was because I had too little iron, and my body was having trouble pumping all the blood through my bloodstream. So then you feel lightheaded and you don't feel good. And that's how I remained for 2 weeks at home. They sent me home. I said I lay down on the couch. Even going to the toilet was a situation. I used to look at the door to go to the toilet. I'm like, okay. And then I got up. And then I walked to the toilet, and then that was already too much. Just walking up the stairs to go take a shower was like, nah, B, this is not worth it. No, not today. My ass crack is just gonna stink because I had no energy. Because when I got up, I used to feel like I was going to faint. And it's no joke. Like, you get up and you're like, and then after that you break out in a sweat. Every window needs to be opened. I just felt horrible, and that lasted for 2 weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, I was feeling slightly better, and I mean, when I say slightly, I mean that I wasn't lightheaded right after I got up. And then January 7th.